week. So mainly I'm just doing some prep. This is our marriage, ministry, and meals, and I am getting ready to peel and slice up some turnips because I'm going to be making some turnips for my family. But when I make the dish, I'll make sure that I try to insert a nice little picture so that you guys can see what I do with them. I kind of make them like scalloped potatoes. I like them that way, and my family seems to like them too because, you know, they love cheese. And when it comes to turnips, sometimes it's a hit or miss. Some people like them, some people don't. But I find that when I make them like this, they pretty much are a hit. Because even my mother likes them, so. And she can be kind of a finicky eater sometimes when it comes to certain things. Of course, when it comes to vegetables, my mother is pretty much all in. So today we're going to talk about intimacy. I guess we could say sex, but not really just sex. Mainly because I think a lot of times people don't realize, especially when you get into a relationship with somebody, and that's the only person you're in a relationship with, people forget to be intimate because intimacy leads to the act of sex. Intimate with somebody, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, which is like marriage, you have to be intimate with them, but it can get harder when you're in marriage because you get used to each other kind of. And so once you get used to them, you know, you forget to do little things, you know, that can create intimate situations and stir up that desire to actually have sex. And it actually makes having sex a lot harder when you don't have that intimacy. You know, so I've been married for almost 17 years now. You get busy, you know, and that's just the truth of the matter. You get busy with your children, you get busy with work, you get busy with church, you get busy with running around and getting groceries and buying clothes and making sure that people's permission slips are done and cars are taken care of, and just the day-to-day things that you have to do, you know, to keep your life moving along and churning. And you forget those little touches and those little hugs and, oh, you look nice today, and oh, I love you, those pecks on the cheek, you know. But those are the kind of things that have you thinking about and wanting to be with the person that you love, your husband or your wife, you know, intimately. Without those things, I think that sometimes it can be hard to create an intimate situation where the opportunity for sex arises. You know, you're arguing and fussing, or you're passing one another, as they say, like ships in the night. You know, you really don't get to see each other that much, especially when you get busy with life. You know, sometimes bills become way too much and time just starts slipping through your fingers, and conversations also start slipping through your fingers. You know, you don't get a chance, you know, to really speak to the other person that much about your week, about your frustrations, about pretty much anything, let alone compliment them or, you know, hug them, touch them, hold them, those kind of things that can spur intimacy and let somebody know that you really care about them outside of the bedroom. And you need to know that your spouse cares about you outside of the bedroom. You know, it's a lot easier for intimacy and sex to happen when you first get married. You know, because things are fresh, things are new. But, you know, you get 5, 10, 15, 20 or more years in, and you just be like, hey. And then, you know, you're doing all the stuff that you have to do in your 24-hour period. And then when it's time to go to bed, you want to go ahead. Find, of course, this to be more so true for men than for women. But you want to go to bed, have sex, and then go to sleep. But women, you know, we might want to talk a little bit before we just, you know, have you climb on top of us and, you know, handle your situation. So you gotta be mindful of that. Like, you know, earlier in the week, earlier in the day, make sure that you maybe send her a text, you know, let her know, I appreciate you so much, baby, or I love you, or how's your week been? So she'll know that you care about her more than that. It's the same thing for the man. I mean, you know, I'm sure that there are men that feel like, oh, okay, sometimes she want to talk to me or deal with me when she want to get into my pants. But Of course, you know, I'm sure that for the male side, at least it's been my experience, that for the male side, you know, they pretty much stay ready. So at least that's what my husband say. So, but I don't know for sure. So, because I'm not a man, I'm a woman, and I can really only give you a woman's point of view when it comes to this matter. But I do know that you can take each other for granted. You can start making the other one feel like, I don't want to be touched by you. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be unclothed around you, because that's the only time that you're giving them any kind of attention. You know, is when you want to be inside them. And they might feel like, I don't want you to be inside me. I don't even know you anymore. So you got to make sure that you keep the intimacy, you know, popping or alive, so that you can keep the sex popping and alive. Because it's nothing like, you know, desire. You know, in my marriage, you know, we go through highs and lows, but because we have, like I mean, I've told you guys this before, but we have 4 kids. My husband, he works a lot in the evening times, late into the early morning hours. So most of the time I'm dealing with my children, and I'm running around to make sure that my household is functioning the way it's supposed to function. And, you know, we just can end up missing each other sometimes. But you got to be sure to, me and my husband, you know, we text extremely a lot while he's, you know, at work or doing whatever he's doing. Just about, you know, how's work, or something funny that happened at work, something funny that happened with the kids. And then on his off days, one of his off days is still during the week when the kids are going to school, so we still be running around then. But you got to find a balance, something that'll work, you know, make you where you don't forget about them. The Bible says that the husband is supposed to love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife is supposed to care about the things, and that we as husband and wife are supposed to care about the things of the world, how we may please our husband and wife. So letting your wife know that you care about more than just, or letting your husband know that you care about more than just them when they're naked, I think it's very important, and it'll foster more naked time. You know, so that's a very important part of marriage. You know, the Bible told you not to defile, not to deny your husband or your wife unless you're given to fasting and prayer, and that is only by permission. So, you know, you can draw close to God. You drawing close to God, and if it's causing you to draw further away from your husband or your wife, you're still going to be in error. So just make sure to be mindful, you know, to put your relationship, keep your relationship in a place where you always want to be loved on or touched on by one another. Because if you let that die, it'll be extremely hard to restoke those flames. So don't let the flame go out. Keep it burning. All right. You guys have a blessed day. I'm going to put these in a container so they'll be ready when I get ready to cook them and everything. And I'll try to make sure that I insert a picture because they look so gorgeous once they're done. All right. God bless. So this is I'm cooking my my turnips that I cut up, that I told you that I make like au gratin potatoes. So I season them with some body of complete, and I'm putting some butter in here now. I sliced it up a little bit. I'm gonna put some alouette. It's like spreadable cheese, but it's got a little bit of herbs in it. I put that in there as well. And then I'm gonna put some Parmesan cheese, some shredded Parmesan cheese in there, and I'm gonna also put a little bit of American cheese in there as well. Oh, and I'm gonna put some garlic powder in here and some onion powder as well. Sometimes I put onions in here, like sliced onions, or I don't usually dice them, but you can dice them if you want to, if you want them to be small. And this is my onion powder. That was my garlic powder. This is my onion powder. Just sprinkle a tiny bit on there. Not a tiny bit. Sometimes I sprinkle a lot of it. But so I did that, and I'm gonna put a little Parmesan on there too. And then I'm just gonna put it in the oven and let it, cook and kind of bubble itself on up. Sometimes I use fresh Parmesan, and sometimes like freshly shredded or grated Parmesan. And sometimes I use already bought, and I'm kind of in a hurry today, so I'm using the already bought one. And I will, as always, try to make sure I put in a clip or a picture of the finished product so that you guys can all see how it's looking and how it came out. But this is the way I usually make my turnips. Like if you're trying to not eat so many carbohydrates, if you're diabetic or something like that, and you still kind of want the taste of the cheesy goodness, you can you might want to try it like this, because I love it. I actually do my I do turnips like this. I also do radishes like this. Sometimes I boil them a little bit over the stove first, because they kind of have a little, like a bit of bittery kind of taste to them. So I'll put them on the stove for a little bit and let them boil out that flavor. Then I just cover it up with some heavy whipping cream, and then let it melt all up in the oven, and it tastes pretty good. Of course, I'm gonna put some black pepper on top of it. All right, I'm gonna show you what it look like when I get done. A little pepper action. It's gonna be so good.